probably one of my favorite workshops that we do throughout the year because I think this is something that is applicable immediately. And that's like a big thing for a lot of people. And so you can like go home and initially even looking at some of the things that I was like showing on the table and what we're going to go through, not only the PowerPoint, but some videos today. These are all things that you can legitimately go home, start looking at the ingredient list, knowing maybe where the most toxic things in your home are, and start there, start prioritizing them, and start making those swaps. So the biggest things that we're going to go through tonight, because this could literally be a 4-hour workshop if we really hit all the toxins, we're really going to hammer hard household cleaning and cosmetics and like personal care products, okay? And then a little touch on just what some of the other big ones are. But like I said, if you have more questions about those, we can talk about those more one-on-one, anything like that. And out there in the Facebook world, hello! We're just streaming today, so if you have questions, you can put messages on there. We'll make sure we get them back to you. And if you guys have any questions as I'm going through anything, please ask. Also, we have Mandy here from M&M Living. Like I said, she makes all of her own products. And that's going to be a big thing for tonight, where everything I talk about is something that you can also make at home, which is great. She uses essential oils, she uses baking soda, all organic and clean ingredients. I use her products. I love their bath bombs. Everything that she makes is amazing. And if you're a person that's kind of like, man, I know I probably shouldn't be using this, but I don't know if I'm ready to jump to making everything myself, that's a perfect meeting ground, right? So there you go. So find someone that makes them homemade. All right, cool. So I have just a quick little intro video just to kind of show you guys like the big picture of what is the craziest thing to me is that in the United States, compared to pretty much all of Europe and all of our other countries, the cosmetic world, the chemical world is pretty much unregulated. All right, so there are thousands of chemicals in not only our cleaning products, our personal care products, our food, our additives, medications, you name it. There are tons of chemicals, and none of them have any sort of regulatory agency that is putting any stipulations here in the United States compared to similar to Europe. And Mandy was even just telling me like a second ago that she has a friend in Australia that was talking about like her products. Like, you make all these products, like why? And we said it was like, well, you have 12 chemicals that are banned or that are like not banned in Australia. We have thousands. Yeah. So we have to be aware of this, and that's why every single time we do these workshops, the whole goal is literally just education is power and knowledge is power, and you have to start becoming aware of a lot of this stuff, because some of the scary things that we're going to talk about tonight are how sick a lot of these toxins and chemicals are making us, and this is why it's a much bigger deal than just smelling better. Okay? I've already checked my videos and I'm 100% they're not working, so I've snuck them behind the PowerPoint real quick, and we're going to pull these up.
We were nervous.
And excited.
Sorry. Maybe that dog is. But cool. So this is one of those things that when I was talking about a lot of the stuff that we utilize today, this stuff wasn't around 30 years ago. And so we start thinking about, a lot of our grandparents, they made a lot of their stuff. They were using a lot of the original form of many of these processed chemicals that we use today. But the catch is what's also happened in the last 30 years. We've probably become the sickest that we have ever been. And we have, like what they were talking about, like childhood cancer. We have more endocrine, hormone, cancers than there ever been. We have more autoimmune conditions than there have ever been. And so it's one of those things we have to start looking at what's happening around us, and we are living in a very toxic world. And so there's some things that are very much so out of our control, but there are a lot of things that are very much so within our control, and that's the kind of stuff that I want to talk about. And so big things that we're going to talk about tonight, just quickly, like I said, kind of call them like the big six, right? And so it's going to be like medications, food, which I usually do food in our Nutrition 101, so we're not really going to dive too much into that tonight. And then we're going to go into personal care products, cleaning products, heavy metals and toxins, as well as I'm just going to kind of touch on mold a little bit tonight, just so you're kind of aware of some of that and what to start doing. So first and foremost, this is just a quick one, because like I said, I could spend an entire workshop just on this in itself. But food and medications are actually the number one toxicity that we have right now. So it's one of those things, if you start thinking about it, every medication that we take blocks some sort of pathway, right? And so if you are sick and you're taking a medication, do you think by taking more medications we're moving towards health or we're moving towards disease? Right. You cannot poison yourself to health. I promise you it will not work. And so that's one of the things that we have to start addressing. So we're actually doing in the fall an essential oils class called Medicine Cabinet Makeover. So you actually start learning what a lot of these swaps are for a lot of our common over-the-counter prescriptions, and then what some of the more natural options would be, and how they break down with some of our essential oils and herbs that would be a great replacement. Some of the other things is foods. You have to think about all of the dyes, the chemicals, the preservatives, the additives that are in our foods. And so that's why we do events like Shop with the Doc, where I actually go through the grocery store with you, show you how to read labels. We do the Nutrition 101 so that you understand where a lot of this stuff is coming and where you're actually being exposed to it. Because we don't realize that every single time we're consuming something out of a box, out of a package, there's going to be preservatives in it. If your food has a longer shelf life than you probably shouldn't be eating it. That's a problem. And another big rule that I talk about at Shop with the Doc is we're going through in label reading. It applies also to this. If you can't pronounce it, don't eat it. All right? And then the shorter the ingredient list and the more recognizable things on the ingredient list, the better. All right? Those are going to be just some quick things that you can start looking into. So, the toxins that are living in your home. So this is the stuff that I think is it's not kind of insane, it's insane. So there was a British journal that actually did a study that showed that once weekly use, so by just using a cleaning product one time a week for 20 years, is the equivalent of smoking 20 cigarettes a day for 10 years by inhaling those fumes. Is that not very scary?
So you did 20 years for one day?
So if you one week. So if you use cleaning like toxic cleaning products one time a week for 20 years, it's the equivalent to smoking 20 cigarettes every day for 10 years.
Oh my God.
That's nuts. That's the kind of stuff that's happening in our lungs. Think about it. When you're spraying a lot of these chemicals, it's all inside of our house. Our house is actually more toxic on the inside than what is happening on the outdoors. And the other thing that's crazy is you think about some of the more intense cleaners, right? So the degreasers, the things we scrub our toilets out, our tubs, our oven cleaners, those are going to be the things that are going to have the most amount of toxins, and most of the time those are the things that smell the strongest, right? So think about we're breathing that in. So when we start looking at some of these exact chemicals, and some of these are going to be some writer downers today, because I need you to be able to recognize a lot of these chemicals themselves. So one of the first ones that we're going to talk about is something called DEA. So these are long words. I don't pronounce them and I don't use them, right? So some of these are long words. But DEA, it's found in actually over 600 personal care products. And the most commonly found in soaps, lotions, cosmetics, bubble baths, laundry, and dishwashing detergent. Craziest thing is this was one of the highest things found directly linked to liver cancer. Guess what our detox organs are? Our liver and our kidneys, right? So a lot of this stuff starts affecting that very drastically. One of the next ones that we're going to go over is called propylene glycol. Have you guys ever heard of propylene glycol? Okay, so propylene glycol, very common in a lot of deodorants, as well as a lot of our soaps, a lot of our lotions. It is in vaccinations, shampoos, processed foods, vitamins. It's a preservative that they utilize. Now, one of the crazy things, it's also one of the main ingredients in e-cigarettes, right? So when we're vaping, right? So when we start to look at that, propylene glycol has been directly correlated to actually changing the DNA of our lungs. So it's affecting those cells, and they started finding issues in people that had been exposed to propylene glycol for a lot of vaping, right? A lot of vaping. It's actually completely changing their respiratory system. And so vaping's only been out for maybe 10 years. We have no idea what that looks like in the long run, right? And that's the kind of stuff that gets a little scary. We already know that it's a carcinogen. We already know that it causes cancer and it causes toxicity, but now it's actually changing our cell membranes. That's scary stuff right there. And it's researched and it's proven to show that it's changing our cell membranes. Some of the other big ones that I wanted to talk about tonight, I have a really fun list. All of these are also, I'm going to give you guys all my awesome references tonight too, so you can look into a lot of these. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so this is a really big list of some things we're going to talk about, and this is use some buzzwords. You guys have a thing in your packet that is a list of all the chemicals, the toxic ingredients list. Everything I'm going to talk about is also on that list right there. So one of the big ones that we're going to hit on today are called glycol ethers. So glycol ethers, this is basically a big term where they can put 100 different solvents that are derived from crude oil, but all they have to put on there is just glycol dash whatever the rest of it is. Do you have a clue what any of that is when you're looking at it in the ingredients list? No, not at all. But what's crazy, it's widespread used in paints, perfumes, soaps, cosmetics, foods. It can cause fatigue, lethargy, nausea, liver, and kidney damage. Right?
And what is that now?
Glycol ethers, right through here. So they're known for grease cutting, right? So that's why they use it in one of those things. It hits the skin. A lot of times when we're using a lot of these products, think about when we're spraying things or the degreasers when we're breathing it in. The reason it becomes so toxic is because this is something that your skin is your largest organ, right? So this is where we absorb everything the most. And when we are putting something on our body, we're exposed to it because we're scrubbing with it, right? So we're absorbing it or we're breathing it in. It completely goes directly into the bloodstream, right? So it bypasses the liver and the kidneys initially, which is our natural filtration system. So it goes directly into the bloodstream, and it can become very toxic very quickly. And so that's the stuff you have to think about, how much we're exposed to it. Overexposure to glycol ethers can cause anemia, intoxication, irritation of the eyes and nose, birth defects, damage to sperm, liver cancer, and one of the most common ones that you're going to start seeing on a lot of bottles when I pass these around is called 2-butyrollethanol. Okay? It's going to be a bigger one that you're going to see in a lot of our traditional cleaning products. Some of the other ones, so they're called NPEs. It's a common ingredient in our laundry detergents and most all-purpose cleaners, right? So things that you put on your countertops, put on the stove, that kind of stuff are all-purpose cleaners. So this is actually banned in Europe. They don't even allow it, and here they don't even require us to label it. So that's very scary. But it is known to be a very potent, so very strong endocrine disruptor, and it's thought to be the cause of male fish transforming into females in the waterways in Europe. So we want to start talking about DNA change, right, caused by endocrine disruptors. That's very terrifying. Formaldehyde is a very common chemical that's in a lot of our cleaners. What do we know formaldehyde as? For embalming, right? Embalming fluid. You think think that that's toxic to us? Maybe, right? Just a little bit. So that is typically found in our spray and our wick deodorizers. So most of the time when you're spraying scents in the house, formaldehyde is in it. Also a known carcinogen. We're gonna have a little video on something called VOCs, so we'll go over that. Ammonia, chlorine, and sodium lauryl sulfate is another one we're gonna hit on really big tonight. So it's kind of crazy when we start looking at just some of these just major chemicals, but how common they are, right? Have you guys ever like walked through the mall and walked by Yankee Candle or Bath and Body Works or a lot of that kind of stuff, and some of the scents that are coming out of there, is anybody sensitive to them? Me very much so too, and I used to not be because I used to use all these products, which is why half of them are half used, right? Before I learned, right? I used to use a lot of these products in here, and then when I started changing more over to this side, using more essential oils, that kind of stuff, I didn't realize how sensitive I was to them. And now it's like I'll walk by one of those places and I get an instant headache, right? I'll have air fresheners are another really big one. So those strong scented candles, Yankee candles, air fresheners. We were in an Uber ride a couple weeks ago and there were so many air fresheners in there. I literally was like, Jason, we have to stop this and I have to get out. Because like I'm tasting it, it's like on me and I don't want to smell like pine tree. And so we gotta get out of here. But I didn't realize how sensitive I am to a lot of those things now. But it also makes me realize how desensitized a lot of people are to them. And so we have to start wondering like what kind of stuff, like that's really scary when we start looking at that big picture. One of the next things we're going to talk about are something called xenoestrogens. So xenoestrogens are things that actually are mimic estrogen in the body, okay? So your body naturally creates estrogen and testosterone, right, hormones wise. And so xenoestrogens are things that trick your body into thinking that we have estrogen. Now the problem is we're supposed to have a balance of estrogen and testosterone, right? Well, if we start being exposed to not only our natural estrogen, but then we have all of these things called xenoestrogens that are mimicking estrogen in the body, we have excess estrogen. And so a lot of patients will go into estrogen dominance at that point. And so things that mimic estrogen in the body are phthalates, parabens, and sulfates, just to name a few. Also soy is a really big estrogen mimicker, so xenoestrogen, as well as a lot of our conventional meats and foods. So phthalates, these are, like I said, can cause endocrine disruption as well as directly correlated to a lot of hormonal cancers, okay? They are highly found in a lot of our soaps. So when you start looking at soap, there are a few things that I want you to look at. So when I look at the back of this Avalon Organics right here, it says no GMOs, no parabens, no preservatives, no synthetic colors, no fragrances, no phthalates, no sodium lauryl or laureth sulfate, and no animal testing, right? I think that's pretty good when it starts saying that it doesn't have any of those things in it. Now the other scary thing is, why is this company labeling that they don't do all of that, right? That must mean we have to be aware of a lot of that. So you guys can start looking at the ingredients list of all the things that it says that it does not have in it. And I don't think I actually brought no, right on the back, perfect. Okay, so Axe body spray, right? So a lot of perfumes. I think this is the body wash, actually, the body wash. So it says in here, has fragrance on it. We're gonna learn about fragrances in a second. But the second ingredient is sodium lauryl sulfate. We also have PPG9, fragrance tetrasodium, fragrance ETDA, and a really long word I can't pronounce. And then 2 synthetic dyes that are directly correlated to testicular cancer and other endocrine cancers, blue 1 and yellow 5, to make the color look good, right? So you can actually look at the back of that.
A lot of this stuff too, Dr. Alicia, we're putting on right after we get out of the shower, or we're using it in our shower to clean. So it's while we're in there scrubbing down in the hot water, opening our pores, we're just making ourselves more susceptible to
at a much
just
higher rate.
get it all in.
Right. You'll see in here, so this is a natural lotion right here. So it's a Victoria's Secret lotion. One of the ingredients that we see right on here, we've got glycerin. It actually says petrolatum, which is a form of petroleum. It's got perfume, it's got fragrance, it has propylene glycol in it. And I use this because I thought it was kind of funny. So whenever we go through airports, right, they do pat downs. We do pat downs, okay? I don't usually go through the scanner, but we do pat downs. And so what are the pat downs? What are they testing for? typically explosives, right? Or any sort of gunpowder, gun residue. So glycerin is a huge ingredient in almost all of our personal care products, and at a certain amount will set off all of those alarms for explosives. Interesting, right? We watched Melissa go into jail going to our last seminar. We were going to take a picture of her as she was being taken into her second pat down, her second scan, and I was like, "What'd you do?" She's like, "I thought I used this really good lotion this morning," and so when they did the pat down, it showed up as glycerin was on there, and so she tested positive for explosives on her. Hi Melissa, I'm sure you're watching here. But yes. So this is one of those things that they're everywhere. We've got to be really aware of it. So how many of you guys know about Dr. Josh Axe? Okay, so Dr. Josh Axe, he is a naturopath doctor. He used to be a chiropractor. He's in MaxLiving, which is awesome. And he has really taken the reins on just teaching a lot of people about essential oils and just natural health care. And so I was going through learning from one of his videos, and I'm sitting here trying to make all the slides, and I was like, why am I making the slides when he already did the video? So I'm going to go ahead and play the video, guys. It's about 5 to 6 minutes long, but he goes through air fresheners, what not to use, and then what to use. And he gives you a lot of great feedback on what are the better swaps. So this is a great video that I really want you guys to take some notes on.
I'll be training you how to use this and not that when it comes to the best natural air freshener options, and talk about the toxic stuff you got to get out of your house. I guarantee a few of these fresheners are going to surprise you. So to start off here, look, most air fresheners wreck your indoor air. In fact, they're adding to the toxic burden already in the air of your home. It's a cocktail of 100 plus chemicals are found in a lot of our cleaning supply today and air fresheners. They pollute your home with phthalates and VOCs, artificial fragrances, and most of these chemicals have been linked to cancer, asthma, headaches, brain fog, and other reactions in your body such as sensitivity. So you want to stay away from these home freshening air sprays. So let's talk about what to do instead. So here's the deal. Don't use this. These scented plugins, 86% of air fresheners contains phthalates. These are hormone disrupting chemicals that can cause estrogen and progesterone imbalance. They can tank your testosterone levels. So they are bad for both men and women. Here's what you want to do instead. Add in some air cleaning plants into your home. Now here's some of the best plants that really cleanse the air. Dracaena plants, spider plants, jade plants, bromelide plants. I also love rubber plants with really big leaves are also great too, and bamboo. But those are going to be the best plants for cleaning your home. You want to put them really everywhere you can. The best place, especially though, in a living room, as well as by your bed in your bedroom. That way you're getting some of those good oxygenating plants there as well. And listen, plant in clay ceramic pots to avoid plastic-based VOCs. So again, clay pots, the best thing to plant your plants in if you can. And listen, these remove 80% of common VOCs in the air. So again, if you've got chemicals in your home, these plants really cleanse the air. You definitely want to have some plants in your bedroom where you're sleeping at night, and definitely in your family room as well. All right, the other thing is, don't use scented candles. These things have hazard chemicals such as toluene and benzene. These have been linked to toxicity of the lungs and the central nervous system. And a lot of these soy candles may also contain synthetic fragrances that aren't the best either. Here's what you want to do instead. You want to do beeswax candles that are infused with things like essential oils, vanilla extract. But again, you're much better off using beeswax along with essential oil candles in your home. Much cleaner, much more beneficial. All right, a few other things here. These little things you hang from the mirror, not that, okay? Get rid of those. Those contain formaldehyde, which causes respiratory disease. Instead, hey, use an essential oil car diffuser. Did you know there are actually little diffusers you can put in your car that give off real essential oils, these beneficial plant-based compounds that actually are therapeutic to your body. Also, hey, using a little baking soda in your car under your seats is a great thing to do. Just sprinkling baking soda with some lemon essential oil in your car can be great for improving the scent as well. Now, another thing you want to stay away from are box carpet deodorizers. These things are really toxic, promote asthma in pets and people. And that's the other thing. You got to think about yourself and your family. You also got to think about your pets and animals. These things we put on the carpet are damaging to the immune system. Instead, again, baking soda absorbs basic acidic odors. You can add it to litter box, the fridge, even shoes. Sprinkle. I'll give you an example. Baking soda too on shoes. If you've got kids who, or you yourself are an athlete, you know, adding baking soda with a little bit of lemon oil or tea tree oil can really keep things fresh. So it's a great thing to do instead of these carpet cleaners there as well. Now, here's another thing: odor masking room and fabric sprays. Again, really high in chemicals. Instead, you want to do vinegar. The compound, the organic acid in vinegar is called acetic acid, and acetic acid neutralizes alkaline odors. It's great to put in spray bottles. So, for instance, rather than using some of the other cleaning sprays in our house, in the Axe household, my wife Chelsea and I, we do white vinegar mixed with water, mixed with essential oils like clove and orange, and that's what we clean our house with. So there are some good options there too. Now, again, not this wax melts, okay, commonly made from petroleum-based products. These are also high in acetaldehyde, benzene, and other carcinogens. Instead, use a home deodorizer or a diffuser, okay? Essential oil diffusers are absolutely awesome. Hey, if it's around the holiday season, I love doing a blend of cinnamon oil with orange. It really smells like Christmas, or something really fresh like a citrus oil, like a lemon or lime or bergamot, mixing that with a wood oil like fir, cedarwood, sandalwood, really freshens the air as well. Those are some mixes you want to try. Or for even meditation, you know, frankincense is a great oil to do in the air there as well. So you want to add about 10 drops of essential oil to the diffuser in your home. Just let it continue to go there as well. So again, those are great. And also you can do certain blends for different things. If you want to focus better, do rosemary and vetiver and cedarwood oil. If you want to have an uplifted spirit and mood, do ylang ylang and wild orange. So there's a lot of great blends there of essential oils to use in your home. A few other things here: stay away from using large amounts of bleach. Now I will say this: if you get black mold in your home and you can't get rid of it, you may have someone come in and clean the area and have them use bleach on it and then stay away from the area for a couple days. That can be necessary, but for the most part, you're much better off using enzyme-based drain cleaner. You can buy a certified organic or a natural brand to actually kill off a lot of the fungus and really clean your drains there as well, is a good option. Another thing here, here's some other natural air fresheners or things you can do to naturally cleanse an area. Again, baking soda. Now you gotta be careful with activated charcoal because it's black, but again, oftentimes that can neutralize odors like baking soda. Natural bamboo charcoal, dried coffee grounds in a bowl, and just hanging these up, hanging them in the air is something you can do there. Of course, opening your windows. You know, one of the things Chelsea and I do, we do lemon peels. We will just sort of put in our garbage disposal with lemon oil. That works well. And all of those things, again, are good ideas. But here's the big thing you got to know. We have so many chemicals in our house today. We don't want to continue to add to it. I mean, did you know if you've got wood floors or carpets, most of the carpet glue, very toxic to the body. Most of us didn't use no VOC paint, so those are continuing giving off toxins over time. So you're best off, if you can, use essential oil-based products and things like baking soda and vinegar throughout your house. Reduce your toxic load for you and your family. You'll be a lot healthier for it. And hey, if you're not subscribed here to my YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe here right now. I've got a lot more videos coming out on how to use essential oils, herbs, and
cool. So I thought that was a good thing to look at. So he's got quite a few videos, just on especially. One of the quick things that he touched on was if you have pets. So you have to be really careful if you are utilizing essential oils in some of these products, because certain things like tea tree diffusing can be really toxic to animals. And so he's got an entire video on essential oils that you can utilize around pets and things you shouldn't utilize pets. So that's also, it's like a 4-minute video. It's a great resource.
What was?
Dr. Josh Axe, and so it's draxe.com. AXE. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of the other stuff that I've got in here, because we're actually going to go through some really cool recipes with some of these products right through here. A lot of these recipes are also on Mercola.com, so MERCOLA. And in the search engine, if you just put cleaning products or cosmetics, you'll get all of these recipes as well. And then in your packets, we have all of our Maximize Living ones in here, so you have a ton of recipes to take home with you today, so that'll be really good too. Okay, so I know he mentioned in there a couple times VOCs, right? So VOCs, it's volatile organic compounds. So these are the things that happen, so when you like spray, right, when you spray something, either aerosol or like a squirt bottle, it's what shifts up into the air after you spray it. And so it's typically what is known, it's like when you're driving a car, right? So it's like typically what is being emitted from a car going into the ozone. Well, it used to be the worst thing about VOCs was it was all coming from the outdoors, big plants, our vehicles, our houses, that kind of stuff. Well, now every time that we are spraying stuff, because we are spraying so many chemicals and toxins and putting so much stuff on us between hairsprays, personal care products, that kind of stuff every single day, they're saying that almost 50% of the VOCs that they're finding in the ozone are from products instead of from our vehicles and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of scary. And so VOCs have been linked to asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lung infection, scarred lung tissue. And so that's the kind of stuff that we do need to be aware of, because that's what's in our house. Okay, so mixing cleaning products. So a lot of times, you guys ever done your spring clean, the deep clean, right? What you got to do, and you put the rubber gloves on because you're going in, right? It's serious. So we got to be careful about mixing some of these products, especially the ones that are ammonia based. So most products that are common, so ammonia is going to be one that is commonly found in a lot of our window and glass cleaners, as well as interior and exterior paints. And the problem is that, so typically when you paint something, a lot of people, if they spill, they'll use bleach to clean it up. Well, that makes really, really, really toxic blend right through there. And so if you're around that and you're breathing that in, that can be very toxic very quick. You can be vomiting very quickly. You can start having chest pain, difficulty breathing. It's called a chemically induced pneumonia. And so that can happen for a lot of these higher chemicals. So you think about it, if you are, you're scrubbing out the tub, you're doing a bunch of different things, and you're using a bleach or you're using Lysol or anything like that to clean the toilets, and that's going in the air, a lot of our kids are really sensitive to this kind of stuff. And so it's just those small amounts of VOCs over a long period of time can cause a lot of damage. Okay, so I put up here some of what you need for your best cleaning solutions at home, okay? So this is some basic stuff. So baking soda, white vinegar and distilled vinegar, the lemon juice and the lemons, and I'm going to give you some really cool tricks that I learned about lemons today, which I'm excited to actually start using myself, because I didn't know that lemons are this awesome. Hydrogen peroxide, liquid Castile soap. Oh, darn it, it's in my purse. If you notice a lot of these products are half used up here, it's because I went through my house this morning grabbing stuff, and Jason was like, don't forget to bring it home, please. There's Dr. Bronner's. Have you guys heard of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap? Hey, Jenny. Yeah. In my purse, there's a little, Erin, there's a little mini bottle of Dr. Bronner's Castile soap. So liquid Castile soap, essential oils. So ideally with essential oils, you need them to be therapeutic grade. We utilize doTERRA. There's also Young Living. There's a bunch of different ones out there. But they do need to be therapeutic grade. Coconut oil, rubbing alcohol, or vodka. So that is specific to when we're cleaning countertops or making an all-purpose cleaner, just because a lot of the times anything vinegar-based will actually ruin the stone. And so switching to a rubbing alcohol will help. So baking soda itself, I thought this was kind of a cool little stat. So in preparation for the Statue of Liberty's 100th anniversary in 1986, so there was 99 years worth of coal tar that had to be removed from the Statue of Liberty inside of its copper walls, but they didn't want to damage the Statue of Liberty. And so what they did was they used 100 tons of baking soda to clean that. So I thought that was pretty interesting, right? Yeah. So some really good, a non-toxic non-toxic oven cleaner. So baking soda is great for oven cleaning. So you can sprinkle 1 cup of baking soda over the bottom of the oven and then cover the baking soda with just enough water to make it a paste. Let it set overnight, and then the next morning the grease will be really easy to wipe off. And then you put just a little bit of like liquid detergent or soap, and it will just clean it from the oven without having to put a lot of chemicals in there.
I do know, if you burn a pan, you put some baking soda in it and some water and turn it on.
And it'll
put it too high.
take care of it. Yeah.
But leave it on really low
Yeah.
for a little while, yeah, and you just clean it right out.
Perfect. Drain cleaner. This was also really interesting. So I noticed a lot of drain cleaners, if you've got stuff clogged in there, can be very toxic and smell very strong, like Drano and that kind of stuff. So to unclog a drain, you pour 1/2 cup of baking soda down the drain, and then 15 minutes later, you pour 1 cup of vinegar in afterwards, and then you let it sit for 15 minutes. If it starts bubbling like a volcano, it's working. Okay. Distilled white vinegar. So what I thought was really cool is white vinegar is actually a natural disinfectant for E. coli. So a lot of times people are worried about using more natural products because it's not going to kill the germs, right? So distilled vinegar actually helps with E. coli. Spraying vinegar followed by hydrogen peroxide was effective for killing not only E. coli but also Listeria and Salmonella, which I thought was really cool. And then same thing for the vinegar and water mixture makes a great all-purpose countertop cleaner. Typically what we do is if you do like a spray bottle of the vinegar and water, I like to add a little bit of lemon essential oil or wild orange, just to give it that good citrus smell so your house isn't smelling so tangy like vinegar. If you add a couple essential oils in there, it really does help with that, and it makes it smell really refreshing. But like I said, I would switch out the rubbing alcohol instead of the vinegar if you have granite or marble countertops. Some 15 ways to clean with lemons. So he kind of used the garbage disposal thing, but I thought that was really interesting to clean your garbage disposal. You freeze lemon slices in vinegar in ice cube trays, and then you put them down your garbage disposal and you turn it on, and it will actually clean your garbage disposal. A room freshener that they talked about. So if you don't have a diffuser, or you don't have any like an oil burner or anything like that to get the house smelling, instead of spraying a bunch of air fresheners, they said you should take a pot of hot water, put it on the stove, and put cinnamon sticks in it. Cinnamon sticks, lemon peels, and cloves, and let it boil, and it will make your whole house smell really nice. I was like, well, that's kind of a neat little trick. A humidifier. This was also another one. Add lemon juice to the water in your humidifier, and it will actually deodorize a room. Your fireplace, dried citrus peels can act as kindling for your fireplace, so don't get rid of your lemon peels. Trash cans, like you said, put them in the bottom, put a few lemon peels to the base of your garbage bag. So same thing, now they've been using like Gain and all Febreze and all that kind of stuff in our garbage bags. Really, really, really potent and toxic. Think about how much that's smelling. And then this was another one I thought was really cool to clean your coffee maker. Run a cycle with plain water, add a mixture of lemon juice and water to the water tank, let it sit for several minutes, run the cycle through, and then repeat it one more time just with plain water, and it will completely clean your coffee pot. So, a couple little things. And then some of the other little ones, so hydrogen peroxide is also a known antibacterial. The liquid Castile soap by Dr. Bronner, high dose antibacterial. Coconut oil, antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, and a replacement for WD-40. Right, how about that? Also really helps for like if you shoe polishes, right? Typically they put a lot of chemicals in those, so coconut oil is a great way for to soften up leather. And then your essential oils. It doesn't just have to be citruses, but like you said, tea tree is really good. In the winter, we diffuse On Guard throughout our house because it's cinnamon and clove and it smells really good. Peppermint is also really good, and we like to do lemon, lavender, and peppermint in the spring because one, it's really good for allergies because it helps purify the air. At our house, we also have the Himalayan salt lamps all around the house. They re-ionize the air to help purify it and clean it. It also helps absorb your EMFs, which come from a lot of our technology, so computers, TVs, phones, that kind of stuff. Himalayan salt rocks.
Oh, really?
Yep, they help re-ionize the air. And then have you guys ever heard of Norwex? So we use like, we clean our house and we actually clean the office with all the Norwex products. So all of their cloths are actually antimicrobial and everything, so we utilize their cloths for a lot of our cleaning stuff. They also have body cloths. On here, this is their cleaning paste. So if you want a very clean stove top, because Jason and I are messy cookers, this will.
Where do you buy that?
So Norwex, you can buy it online. There's a lot of different representatives. This is also really good to clean your tub with. It will get it spotless once you use that. And then they also have a another, like a liquid tub and refrigerator cleaner, if that's something you're looking at. But all of their stuff has no toxins, and you just mix it with water. So it's really good. And I think we've had some of this stuff for almost 4 years, and it's 3 years, and it's half gone. and it's not because we don't clean our house. Right. And then we got the baking soda, and like I say, so On Guard comes in a few different options. This is their cleaner concentrate, which On Guard is phenomenal. So we literally, we clean our office twice a day, before and after every shift, right? So we clean our traction units, all of the kids, the tables, everything with this, and the kids' room, right? Lots of germs in there. So we clean the kids' room with this, and this was actually just as good or even better than many Cloroxes when they tested it. So that is really good when it comes to antibacterial stuff.
And you get that from where?
So we actually sell that here in the office.
Oh,
So the
okay.
concentrate, Erin, how long have we had this concentrate itself?
For me.
Since before you were here, so at least 6 months. And we are halfway gone with it, and we use it twice a day in the entire office.
Do you dilute it or you just?
Yeah, so no, you put a couple drops in the
Oh, just
bottle,
a drop?
in a bottle of water, or in a spray bottle with water. And Erin, do we mix it with vinegar?
We could, but no.
Okay.
Usually no.
Yeah, that one we just do with water. We used to also make our own, also out of like vinegar and that kind of stuff. Okay, next topic I want to kind of hit on is our personal care products. So this is something that, as a female, I realize that I use a lot of personal care products every single day. The average woman is exposed to 168 chemicals during her daily morning routine. The average woman uses 12 personal care products a day, right? So if you think about how much stuff is all over our skin, and so this is a crazy kind of display of what was going on. So our shampoo, the average number of chemicals in a shampoo is 15. The most worrisome is the sodium lauryl sulfate, so SLS, propylene glycol, and methyl, big word. The side effects are neurological damage in your fetuses, irritation, and possible eye damage. Eyeshadow, 26 chemicals on average in an eyeshadow. Polyethylene terephthalate, possible side effects linked to cancer, infertility, hormone disruptions, and damage to your major organs. Lipstick, average amount of chemicals in lipstick is 33. Polymethyl methylcrylate is one of the most toxic ingredients in lipsticks. Possible side effects, allergies, also been linked to endocrine cancers. Nail polish, nail varnish, typically 31 chemicals. One of the top chemicals are multiple forms of phthalates in our nail polishes. Hormone disruption, fertility issues linked to cancer, and problems in developing babies. A fake tan, typically 22 chemicals, and the most worrisome are our paraben groups. So paraben is typically the end of the word, and so it's ethyl paraben, methyl parabens, and propylparabens. Okay, so multiple forms of parabens in our fake tans. Hairspray, average number of chemicals is 11. So you have to think about hairspray typically has butane in it, right? If you've got aerosol. So what does butane do? Burn, right? That's why it's highly flammable. Do you think we should be spraying it on our head and absorbing that? All right, so hairsprays. Deodorants, on average 32 chemicals. Biggest issue is aluminum, zirconium, as well as propylene glycol glycerins. So if you think about it, where do we put deodorant? Right here, right? Where's our biggest lymph node channels? Right through here. What do you think is a direct correlation of breast cancer? Right through here. So we're being highly absorbed into that area, okay? Blush, ethyl parabens, methyl parabens, propylparabens, side effects, rash, irritation, hormone disruption, foundations, polymethyl methylcarbonates, disrupts your immune system. Our perfumes, so 250 chemicals on average in a fragrance and a perfume. Benzoyl toluene, and so sperm damage. So, I mean, a perfume is supposed to attract the men, right? It smells like sperm damage, that's a problem. Linked to cancer, organ irritations, hormone disruptions, and then our body lotions, same thing. We've got the methylparabens, propylene glycol, glycerin, polyethylene glycol, also found in a lot of our cleaners, rash, hormone disruption. And so when we start to look at that, that's a typical morning for a person, right? It's almost 400 chemicals if that's your morning routine. That's not including brushing your teeth. And that's not including even other aspects of makeup like mascara and other things. And so you have to start being kind of worried about what we're doing to a lot of our personal care products. And so, have you guys heard of The Doctors, the TV show? Okay, cool. So this is a naturopath that was on there the other day, and the good news is some of this information is finally becoming mainstream, and people are caring, which is wonderful.
Plastics, formaldehyde, tar, even gasoline, all things you wouldn't want to put in your body. But could your favorite skincare products actually contain these ingredients?
Did you know there may be toxic trespassers lurking in your medicine chest? According to a recent U.S. research report, 1 in 8 of the 82,000 ingredients used in personal care products are industrial chemicals. And since we absorb up to 60% of what we put on our skin, those chemicals may be the cause of certain health problems. So the next time you reach for your favorite shampoo or natural beauty product, take another look at the label and check out what it could be doing to your skin.
And here to talk more about toxic skincare ingredients is naturopathic doctor, Dr. Trevor Cates. Welcome to the show.
So we need some help here. I guess there's some dangerous stuff out there.
Yes, there is. And you showed some of these chemicals up here already, but there are so many toxins in our skincare products, and we use on average 9 personal care products every day. That exposes us to 126 unique ingredients.
He doesn't.
Well, maybe a little less for guys.
So what's the first one we should look out for?
Well, one of them is formaldehyde releasers. And yes, we know that formaldehyde is toxic. It's known to cause cancer. And it's used in skincare. They're called formaldehyde releasers.
Maybe some embalming fluid.
Yeah, they are so toxic.
That's not good.
No, they're not. And so what happens is when we use chemicals with formaldehyde releasers on, we put them on our skin, formaldehyde releases into the air around us, and we're breathing it in. And we know formaldehyde is most toxic when we inhale it.
Which makes me feel really great about Anatomy Lab, where I literally inhaled formaldehyde for hours on end.
Yes.
I hope that's not what's steaming back there.
You have inhaled so much formaldehyde, it would. So what are the things, because obviously it's not always just to say formaldehyde, what are the ingredients we should try to stay away from?
DMD hydantoin and adenosol urea. So there are some big names in there that people can look for in the ingredient labels. They're not going to put formaldehyde on the label.
So just be aware of these, and we'll have a list of all these on our website as well, but there's another ingredient that we should look out for.
Yeah, and that's mineral oil. And mineral oil comes from petroleum, and gasoline is also made from petroleum. So this is definitely not something we want to be putting in our skin. And we know that when it's not properly treated, mineral oil can be carcinogenic. It can cause cancer. And we also know that compounds of mineral oil can build up in our bodies, in our fat, and in certain organs. But the good news is there are alternatives. I don't want to just scare everybody and be doom and gloom. There are natural alternatives. So formaldehyde releasers, for example, they're used as a preservative. And so rosemary leaf extract can be a part of a great natural preservative. We can use things from nature. Argan oil, it's hydrating for the skin. It's nourishing for the skin. So not only is it clean, but it also enhances the skin. It's got naturally occurring vitamin E and vitamin A and other natural ingredients that help hydrate and nourish the skin, keep it clear and great age.
All right, and last but not least, I noticed another set of products over there, and you're talking about, as I mentioned earlier, tar and coal tar products. Yes.
Yeah, so coal tar is oftentimes used in skincare products, and tar is what it comes from. And we know tar is a carcinogen too. And so it's used in products like shampoos and and lotions and things to help with itchy, scaly, dandruff and dry skin. But we can use natural things like aloe. Aloe is a great hydrator. It comes straight from nature. It doesn't have all those chemical problems, but yet it's got those hydrating, nourishing, healing benefits.
Here's what I love about this segment. So we go down the line and we got products over here that you gotta have concerns with where I'm literally looking at 30 ingredients, hard to pronounce, one ingredient here, one ingredient in this, one ingredient in that. And it's just the simplicity of, oh, the ingredient is almond oil.
Yes.
Don't have to worry about that.
It's so true. Let's keep it simple. Let's get back to nature. And it's really the things we use on a day-to-day basis that make the biggest difference.
Well,
and
thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wonderful tip.
Cool. Okay, so one of the things that I've kind of talked a couple times about today is something called SLS. So there's multiple forms of this. The basic is sodium lauryl sulfate or sodium laureth sulfate. And this is something that's typically a degreaser. It's something that they use to keep a good consistency in a lot of products. And so that's why it's in your lotions, in your shampoos, in your toothpaste. It's almost always in every hand soap. I have yet to find a hand soap except for Castile soap that does not have SLS in it. And literally you can look at the ingredients and it's typically one of the first two. So ingredients in soft soap, coconut, worm, ginger. First one you're gonna see water, second one you're gonna see that sodium laureth sulfate. I've even found it in a lot of our brands that a lot of people think are much better, like the Myers brand, the Greenworks, the 7th generation. They still have SLS in them. So I would look more towards a different style of hand soap or making your own. It's also huge in toothpastes. That's gonna be a big one. So there's a lot of brands out there that are actually caring about what's going on, and they do label on almost all of your toothpaste what's in them. So this is a brand that most people will recognize, the Jason brand. You can get it at Kroger, you can get it at Walmart, you can get it at Target. But on here on the back of it, it literally says no fluoride, no SLS, no parabens, no artificial sweeteners, no saccharin, no propylene glycol, and no gluten for all of our gluten sensitivities in our toothpastes. So through that. So when you start looking at some of your toothpaste, that's something I want you to turn over and actually look at. There's a few different brands that we look at too. Dr. Bronner's has a really good toothpaste. The same person that makes the Castile soap also has a great toothpaste. So when I look at a toothpaste, there's a few things that I'm looking for. I want to make sure that I'm not getting excess fluoride, so I look for non-fluoride. I always look for no SLS, no parabens, no artificial sweeteners, anything along those lines, and no propylene glycol or glycerin. So those are kind of like, there's a lot of chemicals, like we said, thousands, and we're really hitting on like 4 or 5 big ones that we're repeating a lot tonight. But those are the big ones that if you even see it on any kind of label, you know that there's probably a lot of other chemicals in that product as well that we want to avoid.
I use it just straight baking soda instead of toothpaste.
Yeah, so that's fine. Okay. Baking soda, you can add a little bit of coconut oil to like it. So sometimes we'll do baking soda, coconut oil, and a little bit of peppermint oil if you want to like make it taste good. I've also brushed. I thought I had an activated charcoal. I also brushed my teeth with activated charcoal. That's another really great way just to detox, I guess, your mouth, pull out all the toxins through there. Okay, so sodium lauryl sulfate, also known to damage heart, liver, lungs, and brain. These are also a lot of your xenoestrogens, found in a lot of facial products as well. One of the next ones I wanted to touch on, just because I don't think people ever talk about it, because it's not something that we think about, but our personal care products. This is, not personal care products, I'm sorry, our feminine products. So this is something that I didn't really even think much about until a couple years ago. And I was sitting here thinking about, we now know about all the fragrances, the fragrance perfumes, chlorine, ammonia, a lot of these things that we shouldn't be exposed to, but they're typically some of the top ingredients in our tampons, pads, that kind of stuff that for the female generation is what we're using, right? And typically we start using it at a very young age. And so not only, like literally some of the top ingredients are fragrance, chlorine, rayon, dioxide, and any sort of alternative to cotton. are typically the main ingredients in most of our standard tampons. And so I completely switched to like fragrance-free, just 100% organic. The cool thing is that Target actually has a really great brand. You can get, if you have multiple females or even a female, for a very fair price, like $7. You can get in a massive, they come in a tub, which is kind of cool, of organic tampons that are no chlorine, no rayon, no fragrances. It is literally just a basic tampon in a cardboard applicator, which is great. And they're about $7 for a massive tub of them. Also, panty liners, pads, same things. The kind of stuff that you're looking for is you want it to be fragrance free and you want it to say plastic free, perfume free, chlorine free, rayon free are the things that we're looking for. So that's something to really be thinking about if you do have children or grandchildren to maybe bring up. Because if you think about it, if you're having a tampon and you're actually inserting it into your body, now we're not just talking about what we're absorbing topically, we're also absorbing that internally. And then we wonder why, fertility issues is a very big deal right now. And so we have to start applying some of these chemicals and kind of bridging the gap to some of these problems. The last thing I kind of want to talk about before I go through some of like my favorite products and how I utilize them is kind of breaking down the word fragrance. It is the wild, wild west when it comes to the word fragrance, okay? It can literally be just about anything that they want it to be. Wouldn't it be fun if this worked? Just try it. I promise I did them all. All right. Well, it was a good try, right? You guys ever heard of the Environmental Working Group? Yes. Awesome. So they are a group that is lobbying against Congress to get some regulations out here. And so they have an app that is probably one of my favorite apps ever. You can download it for free. It's called Healthy Living. It goes through your foods. It ranks everything for you on most toxic to what are a better option. It's an app that you can download, EWG. They have, it's like I said, it's for foods, it's for personal care products, it's for cleaning products. And so say you're utilizing something and you're like, so this would be something where I'd be like, wow, they made this look really good, right? We think 7th Generation is a great brand, typically known for being a much cleaner option, which on the good, better, best option, it is much better than say like a Tide or something along those lines. So I'm not saying if you are here, it's okay. Like, let's keep working our way down the line, but it's still there. But when we look at it, one of the second ingredients is sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate, and it does have a lot of those same ingredients in here, even though that this is a fragrance-free kind of product. So, little things to be looking at. Okay, so this is only like a 1-minute video, but I think it's interesting how they explain how fragrances.
Hi, I'm Carla, and I'm a research analyst and ingredient safety expert here at EWG. You've probably seen the word fragrance listed on a label, probably on lots of labels, but what exactly does the word mean? Fragrance actually refers to a blend of ingredients, a mystery concoction, including any of nearly 4,000 chemicals could be responsible for that clean citrus smell in your favorite shampoo, or the evergreen fresh scent of your laundry detergent, or even garbage bags. When we say mystery concoction, we mean just that. Thanks to a legal loophole in the Federal Fair Packaging and Labeling Act of 1973, companies can hide a bunch of potentially dangerous chemicals in their products under the simple label of fragrance. I love a good scent just as much as the next person, but knowing what makes a product smell so good shouldn't be a big secret, right? What's even more concerning is that these secret chemical cocktails can contain some harmful ingredients. Many fragrance mixtures are just one big question mark when it comes to their safety. Some chemicals in that secret fragrance blend may be phthalates, which have been shown to disrupt hormone activity, reduce sperm count, and cause reproductive malformations. Some have been linked to allergies and endocrine disruption. Even botanical-based or natural fragrance ingredients can trigger allergic reactions. And just a quick reminder, the word natural does not guarantee safety. After all, poison ivy, poison oak, and poison sumac are all natural. Bottom line, companies should be required to list all of their ingredients so consumers can easily find out exactly what they're buying. While we still need to close the fragrance loophole, on the brighter side, more and more companies are doing their part and committing to fragrance ingredient disclosure. So, what can you do to avoid mystery ingredients in your products? For starters, look for products that include a list of fragrance ingredients on the label. Or, alternatively, you can opt for fragrance-free products. Make sure to read product labels before you buy. Check ingredient labels to find out if fragrance is in the products, because it can show up in some pretty weird places. I mean, what's up with scented garbage bags anyway? To make it even easier, we created the EWG Verified program. Products that display the EWG Verified mark are made according to our strictest standards for health and have fragrance ingredient transparency. The mark is an easy way to identify products that do not contain worrisome ingredients, so you won't be left wondering what you're putting on your body or in your home. You can also browse thousands of products in our Skin Deep and Guide to Healthy Cleaning databases. To learn more about avoiding fragrance and to find products that don't contain hidden fragrance chemicals, head to ewg.org.
So that is a phenomenal reference if you are if you're looking for, hey, I currently use this, where should I get a better option, right? So I was gonna show you the app, but it's on my phone. It's recording us right now. So, so I wanted to just kind of go through what are some of the products that we use in our home. And I will tell you, it has been a journey because I did not grow up using a lot of these products. I grew up using these products because that's what I knew, right? And so the biggest thing is no matter where you're at on the spectrum, it's just being okay with where you're at, but working on starting some of these small swaps. I always tell people the easiest swap to start with is deodorant, okay? So deodorants, we talked about the aluminum, we talked about all of that stuff. There are some really awesome brands out there now that you can find some good quality stuff. Pit paste, you can make your own if you'd like, which isn't a problem whatsoever. There's Native, there is any of these. I know it sounds weird, but Marshall's actually has a pretty decent deodorant toothpaste little section with shampoo. Like they have a little organic section that is a lot of personal care products. That's where I got most of these. And even when you look on the front of them, it says no aluminum, no propylene glycol, no artificial fragrances. And when you look on the back, every single thing that's in here, it's arrowroot, baking soda, coconut oil, shea butter, fractionated coconut oil, jojoba oil, lavender, clary sage, and vitamin E. Those are the ingredients in that deodorant, right? So that's a good one. So we want to start just reading some of. I brought kind of just a little mixture of a bunch of different ones, but that's the kind of stuff that you can start looking for. Now I do know some people complain about some of the natural deodorants if you sweat a lot or when you're working out. So I would recommend either applying more or this is probably one of my favorite ones that I utilize for like workout days, like that kind of stuff. So Everyman Jack. It is like a male's Everyman Jack. They have a sandalwood, a cedarwood, a citrus. I like the citrus blend. It smells like fruity pebbles, which we don't eat because they're full of dyes and colors. But it smells like it. It's nice. And then they also have like I said, a peppermint blend, which is a mint blend, which is really good. You can get this a lot. You can get it as a Target. Every once in a while, they'll have it at Marshall's, where you can get it on the cheap. Walmart has it.
doTERRA has a deodorant.
Okay.
That works
really
great.
Good. Awesome. I have not ventured into their deodorant yet, so that's great.
It's fabulous and it lasts forever.
Okay, perfect. So that's a good one.
It works great through workouts or working in the yard or sweating like crazy or whatever.
Perfect. I like that. We like good things. Face masks. This is another one that a lot of people will talk about. So Mandy has a phenomenal facial scrub over there that is wonderful. It will clean. But one of the face masks that I like to use, you guys ever heard of bentonite clay? Okay, so natural detoxer, it's obviously clay. And so on the back of it, it actually says right here that you mix 1 part clay with 2 parts apple cider vinegar. You mix it in a bowl, you put it on, it hardens, you leave it on for 15 to 20 minutes, and then you take it off, and it's a natural detoxifier. So this is something that I do pretty much at least once a week, just because you think about it, I do put makeup on. I use clean makeup, but it's not perfect, right? It's hard to be perfect when you're adding it. So this is a great option if you're looking for like a face mask or a detox mask, bentonite clay with apple cider vinegar. Also, witch hazel is a really, really, really good, toner. There we go. I was like, why can't I think of the word? Toner. This is also really good if you are making sprays with like essential oils, kid safe, which is great. So if you've got kids that we've got a lot of energy, we need to calm down, we need to do a spray bottle, anything like that, diluting with witch hazel and making sprays are really awesome for that. Bug spray, it's the summer. So the biggest thing with bug sprays is a lot of our bug sprays, one, if they're coming out of an aerosol can, that's not something that we're looking for. Two, DEET is going to be a big thing that's in bug sprays. So that's what we're looking for, is we are looking for DEET free. Now, you can make your own bug spray, which is pretty cool, with like citronellas, lemongrasses, cedarwood, geranium. Those are all the ingredients that are in this one particularly. I bought it at, let's say maybe Bass Pro Shop. We were going camping, so I just ended up getting this. But the Herbal Arm is a really good, natural, and safe insect repellent that we like to utilize. There's a lot of different ones out there. Coleman even has one that's just a spray bottle, but I like the spritz ones versus the aerosol ones. You can also get citronella plants. Like I said, we do have a recipe if you'd like to make your own. What am I missing? Sunscreens. Sunscreens, same thing, it's the summer. And so biggest things with sunscreens is you're looking for anything that has no oxybenzones in it. So a lot of like the higher SPFs that are the spray kind of stuff. So obviously if we're putting a ton of chemicals on our skin, you think we're increasing or decreasing our risk for skin cancer? We're increasing, right. And so a few things that you're looking for when you are looking for active ingredients in sunscreen is you basically want it to be zinc oxide. That's going to be one of the main ingredients that you're looking for in sunscreen. And you want your inactive ingredients to be things like sunflower oil, beeswax, coconut oil, olive oil, and shea butter are the inactive ingredients in this one. Same thing, I honestly found this one at Marshalls. It was a great option. I use it as my face one. Sorry. And then the other option that we use, Badger, is a really good brand as well for sunscreens, and they have a great kids sunscreen. What am I missing? This is one of the ones I put on here. So if you're a person that uses a lot of Icy Hot, so you got to think of all the things that we put on our skin all the time. So Icy Hot, same thing, tons of chemicals in Icy Hot. And so there is a natural option that is full of like spearmint, peppermints, that kind of stuff that are still going to penetrate the muscle and give it that same relaxing feeling. It could be a good tension releaser, but not have all the chemicals that are in it. I'm kind of going through everything that's up here. What am I missing? Hair products, so hairsprays and that kind of stuff, and shampoos and conditioners. I like the Accure brand, Accure. You can get it from Marshalls, you can get it from Target. Typically really clean products. Now the catch is when you're using shampoo and conditioner, because a lot of these don't have the SLS in it, you're going to use it as a shampoo and you're going to be like, why isn't it all foamy and why am I not getting the big thing? Well, that's what the SLS is for, and so it's to give you all of the soap and the suds and all that stuff. So typically when you start switching to some of the more natural shampoos and that stuff, you're not going to get that when you are utilizing them. My Essence is a really great line for hair products if you're looking for dry shampoos. Accure has a powdered dry shampoo if you don't like the aerosols, which I probably don't like that. And Dr. Bronner's scrunchie, makeup, last one. So makeup, same thing. Typical woman puts makeup on daily or multiple times a week or sometimes multiple times a day, depending on what's going on. So there's a few brands that are really awesome. You guys have in your pockets Beauty Counter. So we do have a Beauty Counter rep in our office that you can look at any of their products online. She'll do a free consultation with you, help you figure out what Beauty Counter works with the EWG on, and they are going at Congress right now and lobbying for safety. They want higher standards for our cosmetics. They want higher standards for a lot of these products. So Beauty Counter is a great brand. Crunchy is another one. So I Am Crunchy. It's CURNCHI. Same thing, phenomenal brand for makeup. Or if you're not able to order any of those, there is one called Tarte, T-A-R-T-E, and you can actually get it over at Ulta. It is a clay-based makeup, which is really good. So at Ulta, right over by Whole Foods, in the same little strip as Whole Foods and REI. So Tarte, it's a great option if it's something that you're kind of working your way through the makeup chains. I'm trying to think, is that missing? No. You guys have any other questions about any of like the personal care products? Any ones I missed? I'm trying to hit sunscreen, a lot of that kind of stuff.
What kind of laundry detergent do you use? You don't use that.
We use the Norwex. We use their little, we use the Norwex. And then we put lemon in our laundry. Lemon or lavender.
doTERRA also has an On Guard laundry detergent.
Yes, I
really
saw that. So doTERRA, has an On Guard laundry detergent. I haven't used it yet, but I use the Norwex laundry detergent. And then we utilize, to fragrance it, essential oils.
Where do you get that?
The Norwex, you can order it online. If you're interested in that, I've got like a catalog.
I wrote that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, Norwex. It's a company. Last couple things I wanted to just touch on because we were talking about all the things in our house. Cookware. This is going to be a big one. So obviously if you're cooking food and you're spending money and trying to be cleaner with your eating and really caring about what's going into your body, you also have to think about what you're cooking it in. And so when it comes to our pots and pans, we have to think about like Teflon and the style of stuff that we're utilizing. One of the other things that I'm kind of big on is microwaves. So I haven't had a microwave in almost 7 years. Yes, because if you think about it, what is a microwave doing? It's radiating your food. It's nuking it, right? Said, oh, you guys gotta put it in and nuke the food. Well, it's putting a ton of radiation and a lot of kind of unknowns. They even say like if you're within 3 feet from a microwave, you're absorbing more radiation than what you would get on an airplane, which is kind of crazy, right? And so you gotta be kind of careful with that. So we utilize the oven, and we reheat our foods in a quick cast iron or a stainless steel, or even put it in a Pyrex glass, container, throw it in the oven, heat it up. So PFOAs are the things that actually come off of Teflon in your non-stick pots and pans, okay? So the biggest thing with this is, ideally, because they're in a huge lawsuit right now, Teflon's going to be completely banned by 2020 because it is known to affect thyroid function. And we have so many people right now with thyroid issues. There's a direct correlation with the Teflon and thyroid function. Also ADD and ADHD, so the PFOAs releasing from foods into kids. Liver, pancreas, testicular, and mammary tumors directly correlated to a lot of our nonstick cookware and the Teflon. So things that we utilize, like I said, we use stainless steel, cast iron, Pyrex glass, and the other thing is if you are heating food, ideally we're not heating food in a microwave, and then we're really not heating food in a plastic container in a microwave. And so plastic containers, anything that we're heating, you have to think about it, BPA, right, is in our plastic, and then when you heat it, that's all going into our food, and then we're consuming it. So typically we only utilize the glass or stainless steel containers. Same thing in your drinking and your straws. And so most of the time I only drink out of glass. I take it with me when we travel on planes. I take a little glass, or I bring a stainless steel cup. I have got a whole lot of stainless steel straws in my purse all the time. So whenever we're out at restaurants or we're out to eat or anything like that, I just pull a straw out, that kind of stuff. But it's a great option just to start eliminating your exposure to a lot of these plastics, a lot of these chemicals that we're being sent to. And then the good news is Mandy kind of already hit on this, but Mandy? Oh yeah, so you hit it. I was like, your name's Mandy. Our water consumption because we're talking about our homes, and so think about it. We shower in it, which is a big deal. So we're showering in it, we're drinking in it, and the craziest thing is that unfiltered tap water is insanely toxic. And so our tap water today has been found to have lead in it, arsenic in it, mercury in it, chlorine in it. Medications now, when they tested our water, it showed up for antidepressants in our water supply. So that is a big deal that we have to think about. And so what was crazy is I had fluoride. That's what they're trying to do to clean like a lot of our water supply, right? Did you know that fluoride is banned in Belgium, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Luxembourg, Norway, and Sweden? Right? But when we go to the dentist, what do they use? what's in our water supply, what are we being absorbed. And so in the United States, they found high levels of lead. So we know that lead's poisonous, right? We know that's not great. And so literally in the United States, they found 200 different water systems that when they tested them randomly, tested positive for toxic levels of lead. And so we're consuming that. And then you start wondering why a lot of our children are testing positive for heavy metals, why they're having neurological symptoms. Lead is a neurotoxin to the body. Same with mercury and aluminum, right? So we start adding all of that in. We are being bombarded with all of these heavy metals. And so I thought this was kind of crazy. A 15-minute shower is equivalent to drinking 8 glasses of polluted water. And so, and then you drink it all over. But like what Mandy said, so we take a hot shower, which means it's opening up our pores of our cranium, right? And then we're putting a toxic soap on it. So now the pores are open and they're ready to absorb those toxins right to our brain. Okay? That's not great. Same thing, it's opening the pores of our skin. So there's a few options that you can do. A lot of people will, online you can get a shower filter. It can go right on your shower head. It will filter your water. It's about $45. You can get reverse osmosis to actually clean your drinking water. We actually use the Knoxville water treatment system. So I don't know if you guys ever seen our little kiosk over there, but they will actually come to your house. They will test your water and tell you what's in it, and then walk you through multiple plans and multiple options to figure out like what would be the best for you. Are you looking for a whole home water treatment? Do you need it just for shower and for drinking water? Are you looking just for drinking water? We actually went the whole home system because we tested for lead, arsenic, antidepressants, all that stuff in our water. I was like, no thank you, just do it all.
What part of town do y'all live in?
Yeah. So we live right off Western and 640, so right up in that area. And I was like, this is crazy. So so they're a great option. You can actually go back there. You can call them anytime. Amber works there. So she will, they'll set up a time to come and they'll test your water and actually walk you through kind of what's going on, where you're at, and what they think would be the best recommendation to help you get that cleaned up. And then the last thing that I like to just kind of touch on when we're talking about heavy metals are amalgam fillings. So this is a big one. So you have to think about amalgam fillings in your mouth. Every single time that you consume something hot, so like tea or coffee or hot food, it's releasing those toxins directly into, right into your gums, which then are absorbed, and those are the things that can cross the blood-brain barrier into your brain. And so if you currently have amalgam fillings, Dr. Jason and I, we work with a holistic biological dentist here in Knoxville, and they actually safely remove them. So a lot of dentists will remove them, but there is a complete protocol when you are removing them. Don't go out and just like, hey, can you remove my fillings? Now they do ceramic ones, which is a much better option, but if you do have a lot of the heavy metals and maybe you've been experiencing a lot of neurological symptoms, it may be something to look into. Because a lot of these things, like I said, that depression, fatigue, anxiety, sensitivity to sound, can cause seizures, it can cause epilepsy, a lot of different issues when you are being constantly triggered by a lot of these heavy metals. So we use Springwater Dental down on Alcoa. They are phenomenal, and they are, yeah.
I was going to say, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, you're
I was
good.
just going to say, Dr. Erpenbaugh is like a half a mile from here.
Oh, perfect.
He's also a holistic dentist
That does that too.
Does the same thing,
Cool.
and he accepts insurance.
Awesome, yes,
A lot
okay.
of the holistic dentists that I
Yeah,
found
it's a
here in
cash
Knoxville do
plan.
not accept insurance, but
Yeah.
he also accepts an insurance plan.
Yeah, okay, so that's awesome. So if it is something that you have them, you have questions about it, we do have a whole protocol that you can look through, because you have to think about it, you're releasing a lot of these toxins, so you want to make sure that your body is not being exposed to a lot of that. And so you want to make sure there's a few questions you want to ask the dentist, make sure they're using a proper dam, they're using a proper ventilation system when they're removing these, because like I said, when that gets into the air, that can be very toxic. They kind of come in a hazmat suit, and you're like, okay, and it's a bit in my mouth. So little things. So you know, a few like kind of signs and symptoms to where, you know, kind of anything that we talked about today. I think a lot of issues that people were dealing with today outside of, you know, traditional musculoskeletal pain are coming from some sort of toxicity, from some sort of exposure. And so, you know, headaches, menstrual problems, how many chemicals tonight did we talk about that were endocrine disruptors and hormone disruptors? And so I'm like, well, no wonder our hormones are all over the place. And so no wonder we have all of these neurological conditions that we haven't had in the last 30 or 40 years. No wonder our kids are the sickest they've ever been. I'm like, so if they found 200 of these chemicals in the umbilical cord, you have to start thinking about that. And so insomnia, acid reflux, fatigue, dizziness, a lot of this stuff can be some sort of toxicity. And so we talked about, you know, great options for detoxing is starting to make some of these slower swaps. Little things, like I said, the Castile soap, that's really easy to go get. Switch out your deodorant. A toothpaste, the next time you go get your toothpaste, actually start looking at some of them and read some of the ingredients. Your cleaners, all-purpose cleaners. And Mandy even made a great point about talking about, you know, people are like, man, it's gonna be really expensive to start switching a lot of this out. But I'm like, if you were willing to pay $20 for a Yankee candle that's only gonna last 12 hours, think about if you paid $20 and got this and you were able to make cleaners, 5 candles, deodorants, laundry detergent, like multiple different things with just one bottle of essential oils and a thing of baking soda, right? And so it can really go a long way. And then we have a detox system in our office it's a 2-part. It's a cellular detox, so you do take a cell detox in the morning, which helps your body on a cellular level start to process a lot of these toxins. And then you actually take a body detox at night right before you go to bed, so it helps your body absorb those toxins so that you safely eliminate them the next day. So it does have activated charcoal and flaxseed and magnesium in it. Because I don't like it when we're doing a lot of like juice cleanses or heavy detoxes without some sort of binder added to it, because otherwise another organ's just going to pick it up. So we got to make sure that when you're detoxing, it's a 2-part process. And then last but not least, of course I'm here for lots of questions, but I always like to let you guys know what's coming up in the office. So this month we have our Shop with the Doc. So if you haven't been, that's a great option to come to the grocery store with me, start learning, me and Erin, and start learning about some of the ingredients in the label reading. We also do Nutrition 101 in our office, where we kind of just go through the basics of fats, which fats are toxic, which ones are good for you. We go through how to start slowly switching your meats out and how to actually read and look at what products have antibiotics and hormones and that kind of stuff in them when it comes to our meat. We go through vegetables, Clean 15 Dirty Dozen, and we break down sugar and all of the names for sugar these days. So it's really good. At the end of July, I can't believe school starts like the first week of August here, so sorry for all the teachers up here today. But we are doing our back to school backpack drive. This is probably one of the biggest things that we get every single year. We're going to start posting some of the lists that school lists that we've already gotten. Last year we filled 37 backpacks with all of the stuff that you guys donated. So I love that. It's our back to school drive. We'll start posting some of that, but that helps a lot of kids. We work with the Phyllis Wheatley Center, and they give us all of the kids that need stuff for what age group, and we fill all the backpacks for them. So I love that. It helps a lot of kids, and I thank you guys for all of that. So in exchange for donating, we always offer that if you have a friend or a family member that is interested in getting checked in the office or has anything going on, for your donation, they also get to see. They also get to be seen in the office. And then last but not least, we've kind of been kicking around doing a 30-day challenge in here, where it's an accountability point system. So if you guys are interested, please let Erin know, because we're looking at kicking it off here in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Hand it out. It's 30 days, and it is a daily of how am I eating, how am I taking care of myself, meditation, time for yourself, and you get a point for each thing that you do every single day. And I think it's just a great way to really get us back on track. So if you're interested, let us know. Us as a team, we're going to be doing it. You can either watch us all suffer, or you can join us. So that will be great. Okay, awesome. If you guys have any questions outside of this, please let me know. I hope you learned some things tonight. Out in Facebook world, we'll answer any questions that you guys have. And thank you for coming and sharing.
Is there a date set for shopping the doctor?